Okay, let's go live. It's James speaking, trainingsites.io. Make sure we got some sound. I think we do. Every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, I come online just to talk about AI learning communities, online teaching, anything to do with starting, building, growing education business. These are live sessions, totally ad hoc. Ask me anything, Q&A. So if you are on for the first time or actually a repeat viewer, make sure to let me know who's here. Give me a chat, and then we'll have a little chat and see what's going on in this whole education space for people who are interested in um, kind of keeping up with this whole and all of the wholesale changes that are happening in education. And I use the word education for two perspectives, just so people kind of know where I'm coming from. I come from the business side of it, where we're always creating courses or selling courses and course material and course content. And I have a particular interest in how people actually learn after being in the course business for a long time. And I do maybe use terms that are referring to teaching, but what I'm talking about is people learning things, not necessarily the delivery of it, whether it be in a classroom with a traditional teaching situation or a course, which is where I come from. So that's kind of the space that I'm in when I talk about this stuff. And I have a personal interest in all things AI, where it is, where it's going, and where it's kind of been. So I'm open to chat about those. If I know the answers or I've had experience with it, we could talk about it. If not, we can certainly go and have a little chat about that as well. And as I said, these are completely ad hoc. So let me know if there's particular topics you want to look at, or if you have questions, or if there's prompts you want to try, or strategies you're thinking about. We can certainly go and do that. So I think we had a couple of people coming on here. I'm going to play around with in the chats. This is actually, I think it was a question from before last week. I don't know how to get rid of these yet. So I use Ecamm Live on my Mac here to do these live streams. And I'm always learning a little bit each and every time about how it works. One of the things I don't know how to do is remove the chat from the previous section if there's a message there when it comes up again. So yeah, let me know who's here, who's working on what's happening, what are things that you've been talking about, what are things that you're trying or thinking of. Hey, Scott's here. Thank you very much, Scott. Live stream every time I get on a plane. Yeah, here we go. Let me see if I can get Scott to come up here if this works. There we go. There's Scott. Thank you, Scott. I think it was kind of funny because the first time Scott came on, he was just deboarding or on an airplane, and then now it looks like he's on as well. So thanks for coming on, Scott, and hopefully you actually landed at an airport that isn't either closed or having some slowdowns. So glad you got there okay. Who else we got here? What else is happening? Anything interesting? Anything you guys want to talk about? Questions, stuff that's going on. Of course, I always can rant for a while if there are no questions, but I would much prefer if you just say, hey, I'm working on this. What can we do? Or have you heard of this? What are some of the things that you might want to consider? So let me know what's going on in that respect. And again, I'll do my best to help out there. So, okay. Come on, give me some questions. If I don't get any, I will just chat about stuff that I've been playing with, which might be good and might be bad. And again, I do these sessions on a regular basis every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. If you are in the campus, the trainingsites.io campus, I'll just open that up here. I think I got one. I have so many tabs open when I'm working on all of this stuff. So sometimes it's hard to make sure that I get into the right spot or the right page. If you haven't already and you're watching this, I do have a privately branded campus, which is where I keep all of my content. Includes all the videos that I do, prompts that I use, strategies. All of that stuff is there. It's available for you free. All you have to do is join and register. And one of the things that I've been playing around with here, which is something I'm going to be looking into the next little while, is I have a complete library of videos that are here. So I think right now there's about 500 and some from YouTube. Each of them have been kind of synthesized or short formed or bullet points or action items pulled out of them. So I have them there, plus some additional courses and then additional resources. The reason that I'm mentioning this is there's something that did happen this week that is kind of interesting. Hey, Frank, welcome to the site. I'll come back to this one in a second. Actually, let me do this first because this is kind of the same thing. So what's Frank saying? Thank you very much, Frank. I think this is the first time you've been on. Uh, Hi, James. I need to stop chasing shiny toys. Every time I get set on a new way of doing courses, something comes along which it seems to change it. And it's funny that you mention that because I think everyone is in the same boat right now. And I'm starting to see a bit of a shift in the videos, the people that I follow when it comes to all of the AI news that's coming out. And the part that I think is interesting, especially from our perspective as someone who's creating educational content, is I think in many cases we're at a saturation point now in terms of all of the new tools and things that are happening all the time. And I'm seeing two things. One is that people are focusing more on the platform and the business aspects of the education space and what AI is doing to it. And the second thing is that all of the changes that happen where there is something shiny and new, and it seems that there's always a different way of doing things. It's always a different way of doing things that we should already be doing. So I think there's a focus now on picking kind of your set stack of tools and trying to work really hard on understanding what the purpose is of what you want to do, and then just try and look at the tools that you have available and be able to apply them. One of the things that I got a kick out of, and again, we'll talk, Patrick, we'll talk about this after because this has to do with Claude as well. But Frank, one thing that I'm doing personally is I'm trying to focus the part of my business on the part of actually interacting with people and working with people. And last night, I think I have it open here. Let me just do this. Let me see if I can pull this open. This is Atlas. I'm going to open the screen here for you. This on the right-hand side here, this is the ChatGPT Atlas browser, which is technically Atlas built into a browser. One of the things that I was doing yesterday is, let me do this one here. I'm just going to find it. The right page we are working on. Yeah, here we go. So this is actually, it's funny that you mention it, and this is a use case for Atlas. One of the things that I have a sales page for people who are free community member and that want to go to the next step and actually get some hands-on help. And this is exactly the thing you were talking about, Frank, was I just changed the copy on this yesterday, last night. And the way that I did it actually was I opened up Atlas, I went to the page, and in the right-hand side, you can see the chat I was having here with Atlas, and we are going through all of the stuff, and basically I just worked and updated the copy here and actually had Atlas go and update the copy in the sales page. But the reason I mention it is that's exactly what I was talking about is your question. You've been collecting prompts, watching videos, trying to make AI fit your teaching business, but it's still not clicking. So here's the thing that actually is interesting here, as I think they're going to a step where everyone's starting to realize is, I have enough tools, I know what to do, but it's time to actually get started doing it. And it's, how am I going to build a platform that I can educate people in terms of, if you want to call it a course, that's fine, but any kind of learning experience, how am I going to actually put that together and start doing it as opposed to learning how to do something a little bit differently? That shift is something that I see coming, and I see other people in my space coming. And I know that when I'm trying to keep up now with all of the cool stuff that happens in the AI space, I follow people, and some of it is just like way over my head now. It's way too technical. So it's like coming back to basics already, because people need to actually get stuff done, to treat it as a business, and need to have kind of a baseline of what it is that they're doing today to still run their business, but have the ability to be have some kind of setup so that they're available in the future. So I think it's interesting that you mentioned that question. It's something that's going to, I think, happen all the time. So Patrick here was just asking, I'd love to talk more about Claude. Yeah, we can certainly do that. If people are not familiar, and again, this is my kind of big picture with all of these AI tools. There's three that I use on a regular basis. The first one I use, of course, is ChatGPT from OpenAI. The second one that I use on a regular basis is Claude from Anthropic. And the guy that started Anthropic was actually one of the guys that started ChatGPT, but they kind of went off in different directions, which we can talk about. And then the third one, of course, is Gemini from Google, which at the end of the day, I think is the one that's best positioned for people in the education space. And we can talk about that as well. And then the other one is Perplexity, which is a reverse search engine that works with AI to do what Google used to do. And all of these things have a couple things that are in common right now, which is interesting. One of them is that they all have their own browsers with AI embedded directly in them. In fact, there is in Google. Some people don't see it yet, but it is embedded into there. Perplexity has one called Comet, which is available. ChatGPT has Atlas, which I've been talking about. And Anthropic doesn't have one yet. That's the only one that doesn't have one. I think they're off on kind of a little bit of a different tangent with that. So here's the thing that's interesting, again, for me with Claude, is that they do have, and I'll open this up so that we can see it. Claude for me, and again, this is just me personally, Claude, whenever I'm writing something with Claude, any kind of marketing material or parts that are not research enabled, but kind of stuff that has to do with communicating, I find personally that Claude just seems to work really, really well, and it sounds more natural. So that's kind of the first thing. I use ChatGPT more for research and brainstorming. I use Claude for a little more of the output. And the part that I like about Google, and I think this is going to change in Google Gemini 3, which is supposed to be out in the next, I've heard, next couple weeks. That one connects to everything that I'm already doing with all of my Google tools. And that's why I think it's really well positioned. But that kind of set of tools are the ones that I use. And the reason that I use these ones is because for the majority of the other platforms, they are basically bolted on top of these engines. Now there is Grok and there's a whole bunch of it, DeepSeek, there's other ones, but I still focus on those three and I kind of figure out what's the best way to use these three for the different tasks that I have and stay focused on them and kind of learn what they have, how I can apply it to what the purpose it is of what I'm doing. So I think it is really hard to stay, not focused on things. The reason that I'm really excited about using Claude right now, two things. Again, this is my personal opinion. Let me know in the comments below if you've run into this situation. There's two things, and one of them is, and I'm just going to go, we'll go to Claude News, I think. There it is there. So one of the things that Claude brought out, and I'll show you how I've started using it, is they have a thing called Claude Skills. And you might have heard of a custom GPT before from Anthropic, or sorry, from OpenAI and ChatGPT. Claude has these things called skills, and these are packages of special instructions and scripts and software you can put in it that you can call anytime you are working on a chat. And the part that's interesting about these is that you can create specific skills for specific tasks, and in the same chat, go and basically ask the skill to do part of it. So one of the things I've been playing around with is for courses, is I released yesterday a profitable topic finder skill. So that if I'm researching an idea for a skill, that's something that I can pull up and use right away. Now, I also created some additional skills. Let me show you those ones just so that you see them and where they actually fit in. So I'm going to open up Claude here. just so you can see where they are. And this is for the paid version of Claude. And in the left-hand side, I've done a couple of videos on these ones, but I'll just do a recap right now. In the bottom left, there's settings. Now, in a paid plan of Claude, you have, these are the, the general instructions. Most of the tools have these instructions, but they also have these additional ones called capabilities. And there's two that are really cool in here that I like. The first one is this one right here, where it says code execution and file creation. Claude can actually work on your computer locally. So that means adding, editing, finding files that are on your hard drive. It can actually work off of what you're actually working on the site. When you have that enabled, at least when I set it up, it had this thing called skills here. And I've put a whole bunch of skills in place that help me for courses, and specifically for courses. So I have the profitable topic finder, which is the one I was just talking about. I have a lesson plan creator. I actually have one on a lesson hook creator. I have one on a YouTube or lesson script writer. I have one on my brand guidelines. So I created a bunch of skills that have to do with researching and creating course material or content. And I even have the part after about student onboarding email creator, which actually creates series of messages based on, hey, this is a new course, or I'm selling this course, or here's a lesson. So I can actually start doing them. So Claude is really cool in that respect, that we have these skills that have memory of the previous conversations that we've had, but you can call them one at a time and actually have them work off each other. So I think Claude is kind of interesting. It's one that I really like using. My understanding is that these capabilities are going to be a standard, like skills that will be recognized by all of the other platforms. That hasn't come out yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And I get asked a lot of times, it's like, what's different between a custom GPT and a skill? And one of the big ones that I found is that, first of all, you can stack them in the same chat. That's one thing. But the other thing that is like in the one that I created here, which was the profitable topic finder here, this one, not only does it include instructions on what I want the skill to do, but it also includes scripts, software that does tasks as part of the skill. So I have a couple scripts in here that go and search Reddit, for example, or go and search YouTube to find competitors, find out what the important topics are. So not only is this a set of instructions, but it's actually software that actually does tasks. So it's kind of like it's a skill slash agent. And these are these ones that, I think are coming more in the next year, 2026. It's like, hey, I just want you to go and find a profitable topic, and you hand it off to a skill and it goes and does it. Comes back with it, hands it off to the one that says, hey, create a lesson plan or create a syllabus or create hooks. And it's basically a cascading series of agents through a process that are actually starting to happen. So I think Claude is cool for that. That's why I like it right now. And for me personally, as part of my business, I really like skills because they can be sold. And in fact, I've sold all sorts of them now. The first two that I did, I started selling this one, Profitable Topic Finder, yesterday. And the other one I have is the Educational Skill Creator. So if you want to create your own skills to sell, this one here will actually create skills like all of the ones I have here. It will create those for you and actually make them available for sale by giving you all the marketing material and stuff. So those ones are kind of interesting. I don't think they're available in other things, but I would suspect that they're going to be here. The only other thing that I will talk about when it comes to Claude that I don't particularly like, which I hope they fix, is I have, let me just pull this up again. I have the Pro plan, I think it's called, yeah, I think it's called the Pro plan, which is $20 a month. One of the things that happens with me is that they have a limit on how much work you can do in a session, which I think is like 4-hour blocks. And if you use up your session, then you have to wait another 4 hours to start using it. So in settings, if you're unsure, they have the one here that is usage. And it shows you basically how much you can use in a month. your current sessions instead, and then you've got to pay extra. I think it starts at $100 a month just to have a little bit longer chat, which is kind of frustrating. That doesn't exist in the other models. And from what I've read also about Gemini 3.0, some of the stuff that's happening, they have, I think they have 5 times the amount of, and I don't even know it's 5. It's just there are 1 million tokens I think are going to be available in Gemini 3, which is a huge amount of work on all sorts of things with not nearly the same limits as Claude. So Patrick, I really like it for the marketing material, that kind of stuff. I prefer some of the other tools for research. And this whole Gemini thing is going to be even more interesting when we come to the tasks that I was talking about in that privately branded campus that I'm always harping on about, having your own privately branded campus because you keep your content in one place. One of the things that Google announced, maybe it was Friday or Thursday of last week, is there's a thing called RAG, which is Retrieval Augmented Generation. And what that is for AI is it's a special kind of database that you can create with your own content in it. And when you ask Gemini or any of the other tools a question, it will go check your private database first and then answer on it. And in the past, that whole piece there, which was, that whole part that I always talk about having a community library, a community in a library. In the past, that kind of had to be, you had to turn your community into a RAG. One of the things that Google did last week is they have a thing called, I think it's called just file search, that is now available in AI Studio. And that means that RAG part, which was kind of a special database before, Gemini is going to allow you to use any of your content that you've created and treat it as a RAG. So this is going to make having a community library even easier if you can keep a place to archive it either on your hard drive and or your community, and it's going to make a huge difference on how that actually happens. So kind of interesting about that one. And I will show you an example, actually, what's going on here. So one of the things Scott was bringing up here, Scott says, uh, um, what are the items that are not reproducible by software that can act as moats around my community? One is honest reviews, another is requesting support, and others. This is a really interesting question. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking you can do on this particular space and question. It's one of the things that I think all of us struggle when it comes to the whole education space, and there's good reason for it because the things that we normally used as a moat had to do around content. If everyone has the same content, everyone has the same tools, it's very difficult to be able to use that moat. This is my personal opinion. Let me know in the chat if you've got a little bit of a different thinking on this. And again, here's my personal thing on this. And let me just get rid. I'm going to do this one here. Okay. So let me make this a little bit bigger because this is an interesting question. I think it's one that we all have to kind of deal with. The part that I'm working on, that I'm seeing, and this is my own personal belief on what's happening here, is that there's 2 things right off the bat that you can use as a moat. The first one is this whole idea of having your own recipes or frameworks that you can apply to the content that everyone has. So if you have your own recipe or way of doing things or your own framework that you use, you can market the framework and you can teach people how to apply it to the content that they have or the content that they can generate. So that's kind of the first thing. I think, focusing on being able to say that this is the way I do things. This is what happens if you do things this way, and recognize that people have the content. And even if they don't have the content, show them how to use the AI tool to get the content that they need, but let them follow or have it as a recipe. And if you want, let me know. I actually created a prompt that allows you to analyze your stuff and create a framework or a recipe for it that you can use. And there's some really neat things about this as a moat is because yes, people can kind of copy your recipe, but if you can market your recipe or framework about how it applies to getting a certain output, you're marketing the framework, not the content, and not necessarily a step-by-step process. It's like a special way that you can describe what it is that you do. So I'm a big fan of doing these recipes or frameworks. The next thing, and this is the other part that I think is really important, so I'll open this one up, is being able to do live learning experiences, I think is going to be the part that differentiates all of us moving forward. And the reason I'm saying that is because, like Scott was saying here, it's like, how do you, software and stuff can be repeated, right? But these actual learning sessions where people work together on use cases as they apply to an outcome, as working on projects, either by themselves and or groups, about applying the information, applying the software tools to actually do that. To be able to do in-person conferences or roundtable stuff, I think is going to be really huge. But it's actually changing the role of the person who was the content creator to someone who's kind of there and being involved in overseeing the application of the content. So those activities, I think, are going to be uh, far easier to monetize, and for many cases, a lot more fun, because I don't know about you, but I really enjoy talking to people and finding out what they're doing, learning, figuring out how it works, how it doesn't work. And I think that's the other thing as well. Like, we can't keep up with the way things are happening so quickly. So as much as I would like to have a moat that says, hey, this is the only way you can do something, it's just not true. And if it is for a second and a half, that's about the length of it being true, because it's always something changing, always something getting a little bit easier to do. So, in terms of moats, I'm thinking of learning experiences, live learning, use cases, projects, co-working, conferences, getting together with real people, and then also looking at it from the aspect of, they have the content. If they don't know how to use the tool, give them the AI tool, give them the prompts, but help them say, this is the prompt that you use. With this output, you go to the next step and to the next step and to the next step. And these are the application of it, and then we'll get there. But I don't think with, holding back a tool or a prompt or something like that, or holding back content, I don't think that's a viable moat moving forward. So it's going to be back to people, which is great for teachers, because if you are a teacher, I would hope that you actually like talking to people or helping people. And that I think is going to be a lot more prevalent, and in fact, probably easier to monetize moving forward. So hopefully that makes sense. That's kind of what I'm thinking there. So let me just see if get rid of learning how to do these ones with the chat. What else we got for questions? Again, if you are just coming on, how many people we have on? We got 8 people today. Give me a thumbs up, put something in the comments, let me know what's going on. Scott is saying here, there we go. So Scott, list of trusted vendor service providers who negotiate discounts because the communities can get pricing based on size of group with vendors or service providers. Yeah, that's another interesting question, this whole thing about being able to monetize communities. There are all sorts of different ways of doing that with the community. And I think also that RAG, or that community library that you have, is something that you can license if it is curated around a specific topic and outcome, so people don't have to figure things out on their own. And being able to license access to that and or the processes in your community is something that can actually be done. I don't have a good answer on how best on the technical side of that to be able to bundle it or unbundle it. But I think, communities white labeling your content, that's another good way to actually do that. And I'm going to show you one thing because it's kind of around this. And it's one I was playing around with just this morning. So let me just pull this up. And again, this is just something I was mucking about with. So I'm going to go to, I'm in ChatGPT Atlas right now. And one of the things that's really cool with Atlas, if you haven't, it's available on the Mac right now. Everyone has access to it. The part that you don't have access to with the free account is having an agent go and take over your browser. But this is one of the things that it does really, really well. And I was talking about, having that community or having that place where you have all of your archived content and pieces. One of the things I did, just as an example, is, let me pull this one up again. I'm just going to, when you're using ChatGPT Atlas, the browser, in the upper right-hand corner is the thing that says Ask GPT. So if I was here in my prompt library, which is available to everyone, I could go and do a search here on the library, which is what we typically would have had to do, right? But if I have this one, I say Ask ChatGPT, I just gave it a prompt beforehand. And on this one, let me just go. I could do a new chat. Let me do a new one. We'll just do a new chat here. And I'm just going to say, in this case, I'm going to say, find and rank the best prompts for outlining a course. So I'm basically asking ChatGPT, which knows what this page is about and what's on it, and I'm asking ChatGPT, and it's kind of going through and asking me some questions. And there's all of the prompts and frameworks that I have that are available there. So that's just an example of how, if you have a community library or data set of things, you could make it available or not make it available by a paywall so that people can actually use that. You can create chatbots, for example, or allow automations access to this content. There's all sorts of different ways of doing it, but if you don't have your own library that is all organized around your topic, your expertise, your frameworks, your stuff, that's not something that you're going to be able to do. So that was just kind of an interesting one I was playing around with today, doing that. What else we got here? Frank, there we go. Okay, so Frank says, I must admit I'm trying to replicate your platform, but either because of the platform I'm using or my lack of understanding, something is taking way longer than I was hoping. So here is, what time is it? It's 1:24 right now. Let me know if you want me to create a community in the next half hour. So if you want to see how to set up a campus in about a half hour, we can do that right now. And I kind of go through the steps with you using the Fluent stack that I use. Let me know if that's something that would be interested to do, and I'll show you how to spin one up quickly. We could do that as well. And that's one of the things actually that, and if you haven't been to the trainingsites.io community, let me just open this one right here. We'll go to the community here. If you haven't, I would love for you to come and join my privately branded community, my campus here, where it has everything to do with starting, building, and growing an education business. We've got all sorts of what I'm still calling courses, but really they're more like video tutorials about specific tasks, not structured into a big long course of content. And they're normally about using ChatGPT or Claude to have something to do in the education space. I'm calling them courses. They're still kind of courses, but they're here. And the courses are available for you to take. Some of them have one lesson, some of them have 7 or 8, depending on what it is. And my goal is to actually put some stuff in about Fluent Community so that you can actually see how that works. The one thing that I will tell you when I'm here is some of these are actual Claude skills. So here's the one that I just did, the Profitable Topic Finder. This has 6 lessons about use cases, examples, how to install it, FAQs is all here. There's the educational skill one. These are available for sale, but there's courses surrounding it, and that's basically how I monetized it. Say, here's a piece of software, a skill. You want to purchase the skill. You also get the course or instructions with it. That's how I set that particular one up. But there's a whole bunch of them here. So these ones are with no titles, are ones that are in draft, so you don't get to see them, but these are just the frameworks that I was talking about. So I have a click framework, a space framework, launch. These are all sort of frameworks that I set up that are part of the learning experiences or stuff that I'm going to be teaching there. So that's, if you're interested in learning a bit more about how the campus works, I'm actually going to create a series that I was just outlining about a half hour ago using Atlas and having it look at my site and the Fluent community. Actually, let me just do this because it's something we could cover too. But here's one that I was just working on. This is Notebook LM. Let me just pull it up. Where was it? There it is. So here's Notebook LM. And what I was doing on the left-hand side here is I was going through all the Fluent community information and then starting to add all my documentation. And I was basically going through and doing all the research on what should be in the course on building a community using Fluent Community. So when this is done, then I'll end up using those Claude skills to put it together, make sure that I have it messaged properly, have the different pieces, and then start putting it into actually create a course. So yeah, Frank, let me know if that is something that you do want to do. We can do it pretty quickly. Just going to look at this one here too. So David's asking, hi David, developing accredited courses here in the UK, and the awarding bodies had a set of ways setting out the courses, so I'm using their models aligned to AI tools currently here. This is another one of the interesting questions that does come up. I'm on the WordPress side of things, and there are a number of the WordPress plugins that support accreditation and some of the compliances towards the way courses are structured that are also required for software as a service platforms that that do or create courses and get people certified as having done that. I'm using Fluent Community, which has a basic LMS in it. It does not support certificates or the level of quizzing and assignments that may be required, and also the multiple instructors or cohorts that may be required. So I have a very simple LMS in this one. If you are doing accredited courses and you are on WordPress, Lifter LMS has it. I think Tutor LMS has it. And LearnDash, which is kind of the granddaddy, the ones that I started all of my stuff on, does support certification and quizzes and marketing and points and all that kind of stuff. And there's a number of plugins that would allow for compliancy, I believe. Again, I don't know the exact details there, but that's something that you might consider there. And that's one of the big one of the big things you have to do if you're going to be doing a campus. You got to figure out what the requirements are and what the platform is that's going to be able to support it. So, right now I use Fluent Community, but it doesn't have certification. And the gamification on it is a bare minimum. So you may need to use a different platform to be able to support the requirements of either yourself or the end client if you're building it out for people. So David, I'd be interested, are you using WordPress? Are you using one of the other platforms, whether it be a kind of a software as a service or just one of those educational platforms? I think there's like Blackboard, there's Canvas, there's a whole bunch of Moodle, I think was one of the original ones. Are you using one of those ones? Let me know. I'd be interested to find out because that's a question I get asked. And it's one of the things that I do personally at trainingsites.io is that we have our whole agency side of the business. I'm running here on Fluent Community on WordPress on a stack of tools, all from Fluent Community, because for me, it's the best position to take advantage of AI in the future and having all my kind of material in one place, my campus that I can control and give access to. And I'm not kind of picking pieces and trying to connect them together. I have my billing system here. I have my appointment booking system here. I have my project management system here. I have my email marketing and CRM here. I have my community here. Everything is here in this, my cart is here now in this one kind of spot, as opposed to picking and putting the pieces together. Having said that, this is the one I recommend, but we have clients that either have, for example, resellers, and they have to certify resellers. They can't use this stack of tools because they're selling or giving access, not paid access, but they're giving access to people that have to have a yearly certification renewal where they have to update their skills to the new version of a course, pass the quizzes, and each year they've got to get recertified. Sometimes that might be for a company, for an external people. Sometimes it might be internal for employees. So there's all sorts of different frameworks or ways to get these set up. And at the end of the day, you still have to pick the right tool for the right job. So yeah, if you've got kind of stuff that is specific, I do have a framework actually on how to pick this right stack of tools to be able to do that. And there's three choices. One is that you use WordPress like I'm doing. You use one which is a software as a service all in one. And then there's that stack of stuff in the middle where you combine, but it's like you got to pick what your goal is first and then figure out what is the stack that we really need to do to accomplish that for today and also in the future when all of the AI stuff happens. So that's going to be kind of neat to do that. Let me know, David, if there is something in there that you're kind of working on. So uh, bodies, models. So it's, yeah, so there's one, David saying, okay, AI recognizes accreditation bodies, models, so it's reasonably easy to develop the skills to land consistency. Yeah, and that's the other thing that's happening. And I know in the and again, I'm not up on the corporate stuff as much as I was in the past because of all of the AI stuff. But I will put, actually, I'll put some links in the community after. But this is something that's interesting as well, David, just that I've been running into, is that there are a number of AI specific learning platforms now that are actually shifting to micro lessons as the way that they're delivering the content as opposed to courses. And it is AI based on exactly what we've been talking about, is a, you know, a set platform of content and having these micro lessons being automatically created by AI and getting credits or things based on the questions you ask and the responses and things that come out from each of these. So I think on the corporate side, that's going to be interested to see what happens. From the consumer side or the small business, independent, edupreneur, you know, those I think we're not quite there yet. But 2026 agents, avatars, I think we're going to see that a little more mainstream kind of moving forward. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'd be interested to find out a little bit more about that, learn a little bit there. Frank, lost Sam will log back in. Yeah, that's one of the things that happens for me as well. Just to let you know, can I make these any bigger? I have to get these to resize. Sometimes when we're doing these live streams, if for any reason that it kicks out or something, I'm at my home office. I'm not in an office. I use my home internet connection. And if something wobbles and I disappear, I will come back as quickly as I can. The reason I'm saying that is because the barrier to entry to start creating content, live, edit, messy content is incredibly low right now. And I think there's value in the speed of your content, not necessarily the production quality of the content. So yeah, if it's not working and it's not me, please come back as quickly as possible. If it is me and I have a drop in the internet connection, I'll come back as quickly as I can. So Scott's saying here, clarifying, don't actually do much in via chat. Okay, let me keep on going here. So where do you sell the skills? What platform? So Frank is asking, where do I sell the actual skills for that I'm selling? So why don't I show you the setup that I have so that you can actually see that. Yeah, let me do, I'm just going to scroll through some of the more questions there. What do we got here? Certainly be, I mean, I think, okay, let me just go. WordPress, I have to build in, as you say, the compliance tools, health and safety, requirements, safeguarding, etc. Okay, so let me do this one first just because I want to show you how it works. This is the one about how to sell a skill, how you can actually sell a skill and do it pretty easily. So what would be the best way to do this? I'll give you an example of a chat that I did to create a skill. So let me go back and we'll go back to my chats. I'm going to show you, okay, Frank's just asking here, and I got to remove Frank from the, just going to see if I can, there we go. Don't know how to necessarily, there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to chats. I had one previously, and let me just find the one that I have here. I just want to find the chat that I did to create a skill. Yeah, okay. Okay, here's the one right here. So I had that particular skill that I was talking about. So what I did is, and hopefully this one is at the start. This is it. You can see it's a long one. I did some work, right? This is the one that starts. So basically what I did is I had a skill that was called an educational skill creator. And when I started this on a previous chat, I just said, I want you to use my educational skill creator to create a brand new skill that would allow course creators to find profitable course or lesson topics. So I went through this process using a skill that I created and I sell to create skills. And it went through all of these different pieces and steps. And what it came up with is a zip file, actually two zip files because of the way I create them. But it came up with a zip file that has some software scripts in it to do searches on Reddit, for example, and YouTube, plus a super detailed instruction on how to find profitable topic finders using a framework, a three-step framework that I have used in the past. So I worked with it to create a particular skill. And then at the end of it, I just basically said, give me, in this particular example, give me the skill, the guide on how to use it, and a whole bunch of additional pieces that are there. And the one that I came up with, hopefully, we can see, yeah, so hopefully you'll be able to see this in the side. It says, so 6 to 7 documents, README, installation, user guides, FAQs, changelog, license, and quick start. And then it put it into some tokens and files, put it into a structure, and I got a zip file. So I have that zip file now, and that is the skill. It's just a zip file, a downloadable zip file. So from there, what I also have, this is the second skill that I had, is I also have a skill that I created for selling skills, but I didn't show it to you. And you can see, yeah, so here's what else is in it. Hopefully you'll be able to see this one and make it a little bit bigger there. So I have a skill that creates marketing kits for selling skills. And it has all of the email sequences for promoting it and onboarding it. It has example uses, FAQs, but I also have the Fluent Cart product descriptions, the install there, a user guide, and I also have it create an HTML page to sell it. So I had the skill, the zip file. I created all my marketing materials in Claude using another skill that I had, and I ended up coming up with the training sites. Where's the one that I wanted? Trainingsites.io. I think it was profitable skills. Yeah. So what I did is I had it create a sales page for the profitable skill. So that sales page was created by Claude based on the skill that was created. And I have it there right now. It's available for $27 just during the launch, okay? So this was created. So I have a skill, a zip file. It created the marketing materials for me. And then it created an HTML page. So I got a skill and an HTML page. And I also have, if I click on it, remember I had Fluent Cart. So what I did is I had Fluent Cart go and create the short and the long description. There's the short description here and the long description for the product. So I've got a zip file, a sales page, the product descriptions and links to the product. And then the other thing that I did on this one is I just went, we'll go to the campus and the courses. And this is the way that I sold it because people are going to want to know how to use it. So what I did with this one is the next step is I created a course which has the zip file in it, and how to deliver it, how to set it up, how to use it. And there's videos with these ones that I did that just explained it. And the way that I set it up is that if someone purchases from the HTML page, the sales page, they purchase it in the cart, they get the download file, and they're automatically enrolled in the course. So this is a closed loop system that is done by Claude when I'm creating the zip file. Now, the cool part of this is the other thing. Remember I said those onboarding email series? The other thing that happens here is I have Fluent CRM with email marketing automations. It writes the emails to sell it. There's 4 emails that sell it that are 1 day apart, 1 day apart, 1 day apart, and then 2 days apart. And then it also has onboarding emails that after people buy it, there's 3 emails that follow up. So that, because they're enrolled in this course, because they purchased, it also stops the first automation and starts the second one. So I can sell these now without myself being involved. So there's a skill, build your own library. You can sell it if you want, or just use it internally. So that was one of the questions that that I was asked. Hopefully that kind of helps out. If you want me to, just in the comments below or in the community, just go in and say, hey, could you do a course on that or a video on that? And I'll actually go through the process and share it with you there. So hopefully that helps a little bit. So where do I sell the skills? What platform? I'm using the community, the campus. I'm using Fluent Cart. You can use any cart that you want, but I have the cart set up to a course and the course set up to the email marketing automations. So that's kind of the process that I go through on that. And it's all generated by Claude Skills. The HTML pages, the marketing material, the zip file, the descriptions, the emails, it's all done in as a package each time I create a skill. So here we go. So what else we have for questions? Hopefully that would help there. So what else we got here? Let me know. I think I'm about halfway down here. So yeah, Frank's there, Scott's there. Anyone else knew who Patrick's there? Scott, okay. So Frank was saying that would certainly be good on your campus thing. More time and lack of ability, WordPress, and the step-by-step instruction. Okay, David, what else we got here? Is your marketing, Frank's asking, is your marketing skill, yeah, thanks for asking. Is this marketing skill available for sale yet? No. However, it is being worked on. We'll let this one go and I'll put it out next week. And it just creates the exact same stuff that we were talking about. So instead of me having to go to a custom GPT about writing automations and then another custom GPT for generating sales pages and another custom GPT for setting out tags or putting it together, this is one session that I can walk through. The same chat, I just say, create the skill. When I'm happy with it, outload the ZEP file, and then I say, now use my skill marketing skill to generate the emails, what have you. So same chat, it knows exactly what's going on. Everything is in one particular place. And that's why I really like it. Again, the problem that you run into is you run out of tokens in a chat, you got to wait 4 hours to redo it. At least there's memory that keeps it in place for actually doing that. So yeah. So what else we have for questions? How long have we been going here? 53 minutes. Holy mackerel. Let me do this just because I can. I'm going to show you how quickly you can create or spin up. You want me to do this? Give me a thumbs up if you want me to do it. I'll spin up a community or a campus right now, just using free software to get started. So if you want me to do that, I'll do it. Just let me know. It is not hard to get it installed and set up. The part that does take time, energy, and effort is understanding the purpose of the community, the kind of people that are going to be in it, what you can bring to the table in terms of how you need to present stuff to teach what it is that you're teaching. And of course, we had a profitable topic finder. That same piece can be used for community. Like, is it something that you're trying to generate income from? Do you have different ways of generating income? Is it just a community membership? Do you have other pieces that are available that you want to kind of focus on? And just to give you an example, one of the things that, let me just pull this one up here. Let me do this one. Yeah, one of the things here when I'm doing the campus map, Step 3 is the campus business. So I start off with having a community and a community library. That's kind of step 1. Step 2 is building that interactive classes and frameworks, which is the part that becomes part of your moat. Again, frameworks, recipes, live stuff. And then the third part is remembering that you're treating it as a business. So if you're going to do that, like, how do you market it? How do you get referrals? How do you structure it and give access to people? How do you do social media? Where does that fit in? How are you making sure that you have automations? How do you engage people? So there's all of these additional pieces that go around having an education business if you're going to have a community. So these are some of the things that you're going to have to do with this. Um, I will try and spin one up in a second there. Let me watch wait. Okay, Patrick's give me a thumbs up. Okay, that would be cool. Okay, here we go. What time we got now? It's 55:41. I just looked over at the time here. So I have to remember actually, let me show this just for a second. One of the things that I make sure that I'm focusing on is different ways to generate revenue in your community or campus. So there's onboarding. I've got skills here that we're selling. I've got the VIP membership program, a mentoring program, a whole bunch of services. So it's not about selling courses. A privately branded campus is your platform to help people, but also monetize it through a whole bunch of various sources. And I'm not, there's also all sorts of additional ways. These are just the ones I started to map out actually this morning to make sure I had a single map where I should actually go and see this. So let me see if I can spin up a campus really quickly, and we'll do this one. I'm just trying to remember, I have to remember there's a website. It's not that one. I'm just going to try and, what's the, trying to remember a website that spins up URLs really quickly. So um, where's the one that I had? I have to remember. Where the heck is it? There it is, Taste WP. Okay. So there's a website called Taste WP if you're not familiar with it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build a WordPress site, and it's going to spin up a WordPress site for me. So this is the one we have. I'm going to open this in a new tab, and we've got admin and this password just in case. So I've got a brand new website. It's called Dangerous Stitch, and I'm going to open it up. So what's the exact time here? 57:36. So there we are. We're all set up. So there's a couple things that I'm going to need right away. I need a community. I need a CRM. I want to have a shopping cart, an affiliate program. I want a support desk, and I also want to do a way for bookings. So let's see what I can get in terms of free software. Add a plugin, and the majority, there we go. If you just do a search on Fluent, we've got Fluent Forms, Fluent SMTP, Fluent Snippets you can put in if you want, Fluent Support Help Desk, Fluent Cart, Fluent Booking. On this one, Fluent CRM, and Fluent Boards for project management, Fluent Community. Okay, so I now have a campus set up, but not configured. So how long did that take? A minute and 15 seconds. So it's 59 minutes. So it's all installed. Technically, it's ready to go. We just have to go and run through the settings on this. So in terms of the pieces to actually get it going, all of these are available for free to get started. And the only ones that you need, if you really want to get started, is the Fluent community. And we'll just go through the installed plugins and maybe go through some of the walk-ins that are here. I don't need any of these ones, that they come in as the test ones. So I'm just going to delete those ones. And then we'll turn on the community one by one, and I'll show you basically how they get set up. Okay. Just waiting for this to finish. See if we're gone quickly. Again, these are test sites, so please be patient with what comes on. That one doesn't look like it's having too much fun with me there. So, okay, let's wait. Let's do Fluent Community first, just because we can. I'm going to go on to activate Fluent Community. We'll turn it on. It's not letting us do that. It's active. And in the bottom left, you'll see there's Fluent Community here. And we're just going to run it through. It's Dangerous Stitch. And if I want to call it members, I'm there. And if I want to upload a logo that I have, it's there. Continue to next. Is it a basic one, a course one, a product one, or blank? I'm going to be selling courses, so I'll put courses in. Continue to next. Who can access your portal? Now, a couple approaches here. I have a free community, so everyone can access my portal, but I lock pieces of it down. If I want to make sure that it's closed, I can only allow logged in users to see it, and they'll be requested to log in order to see it. If I have it as everyone, they can see it, but they can't get involved until they've registered. So do I want to put in marketing automation? Yep, Fluent CRM. Do I want to make sure that I can send the emails? Yes, that's where Fluent SMTP is. We have ours set up with Amazon, so when I send email from mine, one of the choices here is Amazon, and it's Amazon sending my email, not my website. So that's a definite one that I have to do. And I have the cart installed. Yeah, it's there. And keeping up to date. So technically now I have it set up where I've got my community installed and ready on a WordPress site to start doing. And I can go through this setting here, which is the one that's basically when you come up to it, it has this start to go off. And if we go and take a look at, whenever you get a 404 on these ones, this is an interesting thing that comes up from time to time. So what I'm going to do is every time that you do something in WordPress, it's a really good idea to go to the settings and hit permalinks here. And we're just going to do post name, and I'm going to do save changes. Whenever you get 404s or stuff like that, just resave the permalinks, and we should be able to go and visit the community and then start playing around with it. Okay, there's our community right there. It's installed, ready to go. Settings. This is where I can play around general, title the names, the logos, images, all of that stuff is available to us. We can start customizing the colors on what shows up, what doesn't show up. We've got features and add-ons, which are the ones that we were just talking about. I want the followers modes. It's saying to pro, don't have that one on. Leaderboard, I think, is pro. These are the different ones that are available with some of the pro versions. Let me just see. Some of them are pro, some of them are not. There we go. Yeah, it looks like pro version. So, but there's the settings, and that's how quickly you can basically get it installed and ready to go. The part is, of course, is that you do have to spend some time actually going and configuring it. And that's why I have a framework called Space, which is one of the ones that we do in the live classes to try and figure out how do you structure the spaces? Where do you put the, how do you give people access to it? What's paid, what's not paid? Those are the parts that you have to do your work on. But in terms of getting a campus set up, it can be done in a minute or two with some of the free tools to get started. Again, it's a very, very simple process with the plugins. The part you have to take a little bit of time, energy, and effort in is figuring out what is it that I want to actually do with it. Am I going to focus on the community, just networking? Am I focusing on the education part where I want to spend a lot of time with courses or recorded material? Is it something that is just there for support of some other part of your business? These are some of the things you kind of got to decide. So anyone, any questions on that? Is there things people want to see or not see? I just want to show you, it doesn't take much to get it set up. Again, it's just kind of figuring out what I need to start with. And I would start with the community, and the CRM is the first part, the customer relationship management piece. And the reason that I suggest that you do that is, let's go back to the website again, and go to think I can go. Let me just go back to my WP admin here. Admin, not admin. Yeah, so one of the things we can also do here is turn on the CRM, for example. Where's my booking is like Calendly. The cart is already active. The community is there. And the CRM is there. We actually turn those ones on. So automations, email, all of the stuff is basically set up. And it's just a question of you putting some of the details in and walking through. So what else you want to see on this? Was that quick enough? Give me a thumbs up on that one. Let me know if you thought that was pretty cool. What else we got here? Who else is here? Any more questions? Is there something specific you want to see on a live site? Any other questions about setting things up or using some of the AI tools that we have? I would love to find out about them. This is, my personal belief on this is that this entire space of education when it comes to AI is not imploding. I don't know if the word is imploding or as exploding. It is just changing very, very quickly. Thank you, Frank, for that. It is changing very, very quickly. And my personal belief on this and the way that I'm positioning it for myself and hopefully for you is that if you're serious about treating it as a business, we're going to have our own kind of platform that we can own, run, manage. And if we don't, we're going to have to be part of someone else's platform. And have you heard of Upwork before, or some of those other sites where, Fiverr, where you can go and basically it's a place for sharing your skills or, making yourself available for piecemeal work. There's actually one now for AI jobs. And I think it's called Mercure. I can't remember the URL for it. But you're going to be part of someone else's platform, either working in their platform or for their platform, using their AI skills and stuff to actually do that. And I think if you want to treat it as a business, if you just want to create courses, you can certainly do that. Start doing them now, spin them out as best you can. Go and put them on Skillshare, Coursera, Udemy. Go and publish them wherever you want, your particular course content that you're creating. However, if you're treating it as something where you're saying, hey, I got this expertise, I'm really good at this, I got all this experience on it, what I really want to do is I want to talk to people and share all this wealth of information or my way of doing things, you're going to need some kind of platform for doing that. And building your own platform, I think, is that privately branded campus or your own community where you can have whatever you want to call them, raving fans or people who are interested, who just want to go along for the ride with you and learn as you learn and share what they've been learning and learn from other people who are interested in a particular topic. In this case, building your own community platforms to teach online and leverage AI and all of these tools. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'm welcome to have you. And I would love to have you and go through all of these particular pieces here that we're doing on the trainingsites.io site. And again, if you're watching this after, please make sure and join. And at some point, hopefully what you'll do is you say, okay, I got it, but I just need a little help. I need a little bit more time, maybe getting over the finish line there. Can you talk to me and help me out? Can we work live on these? And that's where that campus pass is available. And that's one of the ways that I monetize my expertise in my privately branded campus. You can charge for courses if you want. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. But if you don't have a platform to do it on, how are you going to monetize it as a business? How are you going to make yourself stand out when everyone else has the same tools, create the same content as you? No platform, I don't think you have any long-term business aspects to it. And I'm talking like long-term aspects. I did a video, I think it was yesterday, and I was like, I watch Eric Schmidt. There's a YouTube video series called Moonshots, and it's about all of the people that are from San Francisco, Silicon Valley, all of the people that are big in the AI space. And some of them are called futurists, but I remember when, talking to Carl Sagan and all of these people, when I was growing up, a futurist was someone was like 25, 50, 100 years from now. You're watching these guys on moonshots, and a futurist is someone that has some guesses for the next 12 to 36 months. So, if you try and own a platform that you have, I think that's the best way to monetize your community. And that's why I'm focusing on it. Again, hopefully that's something that makes sense for you. If it is, get in, comment, let me know what's going on. What are you working on? I would love to hear about it. You can share some of the stuff that you're doing with the group, stuff that you found that works and doesn't work. Ask other people what's going on. Those are the things that I'm really excited about, and I would love for you to do if you wanted to be part of a privately branded campus. And I'll just show you where that is again, just so that we make sure that we get in the same spot. This is my privately branded campus. We have a whole bunch of video tutorials that are here in the courses and the tutorials now, which is what I'm naming them. I did videos on, I'm not 100% sure on what to do them, but we've got all sorts of videos on AI tools or custom GPTs or frameworks, all the different frameworks that we've started to create. I do have a bunch of study halls, which are spaces or groups about technology or strategy. And again, some of these ones, tools and resources, skills, wins and celebrations. Get in and share that stuff with me. And then, of course, we have classes on a regular basis. We do live working sessions on Monday evenings, Tuesday afternoons, Wednesdays this one, and we also have one starting on Friday. So these are live working sessions that we do with the VIP members where we actually do stuff, not just learn about stuff by watching a video or reading a text. We actually go and apply it. Help build your campus, build out your video tutorials if you're having them, organize your course content, build out your library, set out the email marketing automations and the social media posting, that kind of thing. So hopefully that kind of helps. How long have we been going for? I've been gone hour and 11 minutes. So I think what I'll do is I'll pack it in for today, unless there are any more questions. If you haven't already, go to the upgrade page here, which is trainingsites.io/pass. And that will get you to the point where you can read through, see what's included. And I would love to have you join as a VIP member. And we can start, build, and grow your education business. So thank you everyone again. James speaking, trainingsites.io. Take care, expect the best, and we'll be back later this afternoon with another great video that should be up on YouTube. So take care everyone. Thanks for coming on.